Hey all of you, welcome to all of you on behalf of my channel, that is JE Physics Maniac. And after the series of lectures that we had in terms of Coulomb's law and application of Coulomb's law, electric field generated by a point charge, now we are going to discuss a very interesting topic, that is the topic of electric field lines, right? So let us see what is all about. As you can see here, I have taken a positive charge here and then there is a negative charge. For the positive charges, you can see that there are field lines generated in the radially outward direction, and for the negative charges, field lines are radially inward direction. Correct? If two charges, that is positive and negative charges, are kept side by side, then you can see here that field lines are getting generated from positive charges, they are terminating on the negative charges. The situation is quite clear to all of you, as you can see clearly, right? So point is that electric field lines will generate from the positive charge and they will terminate on the negative charge. You can see few lines like this line, this one and this one, and you can see these lines also. Basically these lines are generated from positive charge traveling infinite distance and then coming back to the negative charge. Correct? So 2 points here. First point is, for positive charges, field line will be generated. For negative charges, they will terminate. If we keep two charges, 1 plus 1 minus side by side, then field lines will be originating from the positive charge and they will terminate on the negative charge, right? Let's move ahead. Now we can check here that same thing. We have checked one positive charge, one negative charge here. So these positive and negative charges, representative electric field line is also shown. On the left of the diagram, you can see two positive charges are there. Because of this, since there will be neutral point, so this middle dotted line, you can see the green line, you can see here, there is no electric field because this is the region where electric field will be zero. We will get the neutral point. Now this diagram is quite indicating the graphics that you are seeing below. Here if you see that when the positive charge is coming closer to the negative charge, when the charge is coming closer to the negative charge, you can see that the lines are coming closer to each other. So if they are coming closer to each other, in the sense, we will remember that electric field line density, that number of lines per unit area, represent electric field strength. So when the two charges are closer to each other, electric field strength is increasing. When they are moving away from each other, lines are moving away from each other, hence electric field strength is decreasing. Clear? Again I am repeating that the field line density, number of field lines crossing unit area, is a representative thing of electrical field strength. So if the charges are coming closer to each other, the field lines are coming closer to each other, hence the field is increasing. If they are moving away from each other, the field lines, the separation between the field lines is also increasing. It means the field strength is decreasing. Let's move on. Here in this case, you can clearly see that I have taken a field line out here. This field line is getting generated from positive charge terminating on the negative charge. If I draw a tangent here, this tangent will give the direction of electric field strength. This will give the direction of E vector, right? So in this particular direction, only a charge particle can experience a force. So a charge particle, if I take a positive charge, it can experience a force in that direction, right? So it is possible for the charge particle to have acceleration in that direction also, that is at is equal to q e vector by m. All right, so that means if I take a field line, and in that field line, if I draw a tangent on any of the point, so this is the point in which if I draw a tangent, it will give the direction of electric field, and hence it will give the direction of force, which is tangential force, and it will give direction of tangential acceleration. Correct? But can it be, if a charge particle is here plus q, so can we say that this is the same trajectory as the charge particle moves? Later on I will put the question, so then you have to search for the answer. I will keep you in some time in the world of trance so that you are thinking about it, and hopefully you will come with the answer. Next thing, I have kept four charges. You can see 1 plus 1 minus, here plus, minus, here also minus, plus. So because of the assembly of four charges, I have kept you the representation of electrical field line, right? Let's move on. Here you can see there is one example. There is a point A and this is the electric field line they are showing, and they are saying first point what is the direction of electrostatic force. So if I check about direction of electrostatic force, I will draw a tangent here. So this is the electric field. If this is the electric field at point A, so force acting point A, that is equal to mass into acceleration is equal to Q into E at point A, right? So this force is along I cap, as this is along positive x-axis. I hope this is clear. Think about point B. If I think about point B, this is the direction of electric field for point B, right? So it will have two component. I can say this is Ex and this is Ey. Ex you can see is along plus I cap, but Ey is along minus j cap. So electric field at B, I can write Ex I cap plus of Ey minus j cap. So what is going to be the force? Force at point B will be equal to Qex I cap plus Qey of minus j cap. Alright, then what they are asking second question, at which point A or B will the acceleration of the test charge be greater than the charge released? Fine. So you think that between A and B, I can write at A the field lines are closely spaced. So if the field lines are closely spaced, in the sense electric field at A is greater than electric field at point B. So if electric field is greater at A, force at A is greater than force at B. So acceleration at A is greater than acceleration at B, right? So this entire question is based on the concept that is field line density is proportional to field strength. All right, fine. Let's go to the next question. Now this is a beautiful question. It is saying that in a region of space, an electric field line is in the shape of semicircle of radius r. Magnitude of the field at point is E. A particle of mass m having a charge q is constrained to move. Means it is forced to move along this field line. The particle is released from rest at point A. Find the kinetic energy when it reaches point B. So now you check here. At every point, if I draw the tangent, it will give the direction of electric field. And as the charge particle is moving, if I take an elemental displacement here, suppose at an angle theta, this is d theta. So this is the direction of displacement, ds vector. So ds is equal to, can I write r d theta? Now work done by the electric field in time dt, in that small interval of time, what is the work done? dw will be equal to f vector dot ds vector. F is qe vector dot ds vector. Now you see, in this interval electric field is in that direction, ds is also in the same direction. So can I write that e vector is parallel to ds vector? So angle between them is equal to 0 degree. So dw is equal to, I can write q into e into ds cos of 0 degree, that is qe into ds, that is qe. ds means r d theta. So if I integrate the result here, that is QER integration of d theta 0 to 2 pi, you see, or 0 to pi. This is angle 180 degree. So angle is 0 to pi. So my answer will be pi q E into R. So that is the work done by electric field. And from work energy theorem, What I can write? Work done by electric field is equal to change in kinetic energy, that is equal to kinetic energy at point B minus kinetic energy at point A. Kinetic energy at point A being 0, kinetic energy at point B will be equal to this one, right? So this is a good question, simple to answer. Next, what they are asking, find the acceleration of the charged particle when it is at the midpoint of the path from A to B. Now, you see here, when it is at the midpoint of this path or of this field line at this particular point. So here, the charged particle will have some kind of tangential acceleration as well as it will have some kind of velocity. So my first target is to calculate this velocity. So if I want to calculate work done by the electric field from A, this point is C. So from A to C is equal to, simply I will write QE into R integration of 0 to pi by 2 d theta. So it becomes QE pi R by 2. So that must be equal to half m Vc square, right? From here, can you check? Vc square by R is equal to, these two will be cancelled. So Vc square by R is coming to be pi QE divided by m. Now this Vc square by R is nothing but normal acceleration. So An is equal to pi QE by m. We already have the tangential acceleration, that is equal to QV by m. So at this particular point, particle has two acceleration, that is tangential and normal. So what is total acceleration? These two acceleration are perpendicular to each other. This is tangential and this is normal. So A total will be equal to root under of AT square plus of AN square. I will leave the calculation up to you. Try on your own. Definitely you will get the answer. Right? So this is a very good question. Next. So here they are saying there are 2 point charges plus Q1 and minus Q2 are placed at point A and B respectively. An electric field line of force emerges from Q1 making an angle alpha equal to 60 degree with the line AB and terminates at minus Q2 at an angle 90 degree with the line. They are asking find mod of Q1 by Q2. So what is the way out to solve this particular question? Now this question we will solve with the help of a concept that is called solid angle. What is a solid angle? Suppose if I take an arbitrary surface and this is the point, through this point if I draw tangent on every point passing through this surface like this. So let us assume I have an elemental area over here. This elemental area vector is in that direction, that is dA vector, and this is the r cap radial unit vector. So d omega solid angle is defined as dA vector dot r cap by r square. So from here d omega is equal to, we can write dA into n cap. N cap is the unit vector of that area vector dot r cap by r square. The dot product between two unit vector will give to cos theta. So that is dA cos theta by r square, that is d omega. If we take spherically symmetric surface, then in that case what will happen? Theta will be equal to 0 degree. So d omega is equal to, we will get dA by r square. You should not panic because I will discuss this idea in detail again in the lecture series of Gauss law. So if I take a spherically symmetric area, you can see that these are the radial lines like this, and if you take this elemental area vector is in the same direction. So that's why theta is equal to 0 degree. So for this, if I integrate the result for a sphere, radius is constant, so 1 by r square is integration, it will be out of the integration. Then integration of dA. What is the integration of dA? That is 4 pi r square into 1 by r square. So solid angle subtended by a sphere will be equal to 4 pi. Now here in this case, what I will do, I will think about a cone. What is the total number of electric field line passing through this cone? So for that, again, I will tell you the idea. I will discuss it in detail in Gauss law. Now I'm just giving the description. So this is angle alpha. This is angle alpha. Solid angle will be equal to 2 pi into 1 minus cos alpha. So if there is at angle alpha, it is originating from plus q1, and if I say at an angle beta, it is terminating on this minus q2. So for this, solid angle will be equal to 2 pi into 1 minus cos beta. So this is the idea that you have to implement over here. Just for discussion of this particular topic, I brought this question. Detail I will discuss in Gauss law. So next is the last thing. As you can see, I'm asking that you want to think. Since this is a representative video, I will leave you with two questions to think in deeply. Can the field line and the trajectory of a charged particle be the same line? If not, why? And the second point I want you people to think, can two field lines touch or cut each other? So knowingly I have kept 2 points, that is, can they touch each other, can they cut each other? This thing is available in all the textbook, this is not. So think on it. By the time you think, I will take some time. We'll come back in the next video series. Thank you. If you do like this content, please like, subscribe and share. Thank you very much.